Welcome to video 2, Understanding the Data by Urban Forex. Now, there are several elements to keep track of when it comes to fundamentals. There are 4 to 5 key elements to stay on top of. So you can write them down for your notes, or you can even refer to them just below this video. They're going to be there as well. Now, the 5 key elements is interest rates. You want to know what countries are raising or dropping interest rates. That is one key element. Anything unemployment related or employment related, okay, that is very important. GDPs, okay, they're known as gross domestic product. Those are important. CPIs, they're important as well. All of these factors play into a role of how do we monitor the health of a certain economy, okay? So these are the elements you will want to stay on top of. These are the major movers, basically, if you want to call it, of the market. So any differentiation in these 5 elements will determine a longer directional move. Okay, so you might be wondering, okay, well, what does that mean? Right now everything sounds foreign to me. I have no idea what you're saying, Naveen. Let's go in deeper. Okay, so let's try to understand this. So one of the key elements is GDP. Okay, I want you to realize when you're looking at a calendar like this, there's a few elements that you see. You see something called previous, which means what was the previous number, which was 0%. We have forecast. What is the world expecting? They're expecting a better economy. They're expecting it to be 0.1%. And what does the actual number come out? So on my time at 12:30, the number came out as 0.3%. That means it is better than expected. However, majority of the public focuses on the forecast and then the actual based on the forecast. I don't want you to do that, okay? In my personal opinion, I've seen time and time again, you're better off comparing it to the previous, okay? So if previously the economy was at 0% and right now is at 0.3%, that is great. And what was the expectation? The expectation was a good economy anyways. They got it better. Great. That means we're looking for pound strength going forward. Okay, moving on to the next one. Here we have previously it was at 1.3%. Okay, they were expecting it to be worse because they were expecting it to be 0.9%, and it actually came out at 1.1%. Now notice the color is green because it was higher than the expectation. But to me, I will still treat this as it is still a worse economy than last time. Okay, it got worse. Just like here it got better, from here it got better, but here it got slightly worse. Okay, something to keep in track of. The next one, we have 0.3. They were expecting it to be worse, and it came out even further. Okay, it became even worse, right? So they were expecting a bad economy, it became even worse. That is a trajectory for a weaker pound. So you have mixed sentiments here for the pound here. Now, let's go down further down. Some other news came out. We have industrial production, manufacturing production. These are more on the weaker side. They're not really high impact movers, but it's good to keep track of them. So if I look at all of them as a total and I look at it, okay, what did industrial production do? They were expecting 0.1% negative, and they got 0.6% negative. That's really bad, okay? Compared to last time, which was just a positive 0.1%. Okay, I'm not expecting you to understand what these percentages mean. I just need you to understand what is the trajectory? What is happening to the market as of right now when this news came out? Okay, so they're saying it got worse. Manufacturing production, it was at 0.4%. They were expecting it to be worse, and it became even further down, okay? So it became negative. So that's, again, a weak pound. Okay, moving further, this is a monthly GDP change. There's nothing here. Moving on to trade balance, okay? The trade balance, they were expecting it to be worse again, and it came out worse than last time, but better than the expectations. I still count this as bad economy, okay? So majority of it, if we go through the list, majority of it is inclining towards a weaker pound, okay? Same thing with trade balance with the non-EU. We're looking at a worse economy. They're expecting a negative 2.8 compared to negative 2.54 before, and it came out to negative 2.21. It got slightly better than last time. Okay, slightly better than last time. Okay, so overall, if I had to look at this, I would label this as pound is more leaning towards the weak side, but it has some good news coming out towards it as well. So it's not a clear-cut direction. Okay, now let's take a look at some CPIs here. Okay, on US dollar, later on when the US markets opened, they had a CPI report that came out. They were expecting it to be worse, they got worse. Okay, they went even further. Okay, for the core CPI year on year, 2.4, they were expecting nothing to change, and it actually had no change. Great. CPI month on month, okay, we have 0.1%. They were expecting no change, but it became worse. Okay, and then we have some employment stuff, initial jobless claims. For employment stuff, again, is very important factors, right? CPIs and employment, they're very important. They were at 220 last time, 220,000 jobless claims. That means it's bad, right? So 215,000, they're expecting less people to be jobless. Okay, now you have to be careful. You have to read what that means. It's jobless claims. There's less people jobless. That is a sign of a better economy. And they got 210. So that's even better than they were expecting it as well. So that is on trajectory for a good economy. Okay, versus the other ones, they're all quite negative. Okay, so same thing goes on to here. We have a lot of hints of negativity into the market with some hint of positive for the US dollar. Now, you can see both for the pound and the US dollar, you don't have a clear direction on what it's trying to do. There's one more key element I want you to keep track of. Okay, once you have a clear direction, now for example, we have only one CAD here. Okay, it's a housing price index. It is not one of those 5 major things I talked about earlier in the video, but you have to keep track of these news events to see if it impacts the market and if it means anything to you going forward. Now, one key element that I like to keep track of is a change in direction. Okay, so for example, if they're previously at 0.0 here, they're expecting positive, and the result comes out negative. That means they were expecting the economy to go better, but it actually came out, let's say, -3. That is a shock to the market. That is a change in direction. That is a change of fundamentals. That has high power. That has high power. That is something you want to stay on top of. Okay? All of these are with the same trajectory. They were expecting it to be better. They got even better. Great. That's going with the flow. That's fine. That's fine. It just means a stronger pound. That's all. Okay? But the ones that have the highest impact are the ones where the market is expecting to be positive and it comes out negative, or vice versa. The market is expecting to be worse, but it comes out very good, in fact. This kind of stuff is a change in fundamentals. This can move the market tremendously. And then you have an idea of, hey, over the next day, 2, 3 days, or a week or a month, we have a trajectory of the markets are going to be strong until the trajectory changes again. All right, let's move on to the next video.